Darius decided to come back for a fifth year. We've seen that trend now in the NCAA. What was it that led you to want to come back?
I just think of like the foundation that we had last year, like the whole entire season. Like you could just see the potential that we had, and seeing how guys just persevere through things and how they kind of own who they were as players and also as people, and just knowing like the potential we can have for this year, second year in a row, us playing together. Like the only person we lost was Keegan, like that was like highly in the rotation. So you think about a year of growth, and then they have this off season. Everybody just put in that work and just expand their games. There's no telling like how far we could go, how talented this team could be. So.
How long did it take you to come to that decision? And, did you go back and forth on it, or are you pretty set on what you wanted to do?
I think it was pretty set like a week after like the season ended, but like we also still like explored a little bit just to see what was what. So.
Did you do any workouts with any professional teams at all?
I did not. So.
Was that something that interested you to get that feedback, or did you have kind of an idea in your head of what you wanted to improve upon by coming back?
I think the feedback played like a vital role because ultimately like, you want to be the best possible basketball player you can be. So receiving any feedback from anybody that's respected in that craft, whether that's like my coaching staff here or like we want to play in the NBA or at the professional level. So obviously their opinion matters. So as far as your development as a player, you want to take it into consideration.
What type of feedback did you get?
It was real. Like honestly, it kind of blew me away, like in a good way, of the feedback that I got. But things of concern has always been like defensive end. That's always been a weakness of mine, even since I started playing basketball. So it's kind of no surprise there, but also like it was a little credit on the defensive end. So I know like the progress that I've made, like it's real progress, and I just got to keep moving the ball forward. But that was kind of like just the main thing.
Were there any guys or people that you talked to, that you leaned on and relied upon to help you through this process? Family members, coaches, other people you know?
Mostly like Coach McGhee fielded most of my information about just even agencies like throughout my senior year, and also during this process. So I always tip my hat off to Coach McGhee because he wasn't wearing his coach's hat; he was wearing his like father figure hat for me. So that played like a pivotal role. Like he solely just wanted the best possible opportunity for me, even though like he is technically my coach and I did have a fifth year, but he really like did as much as he possibly could to give me as much feedback as I possibly could have.
What about any of the former Liberty players that you talked to maybe the last few weeks or months, Caleb or Lavelle or anybody like that?
Not really. I think they all was kind of in the boat of like what was my plans, and it was tough trying to keep that concealed from them guys, especially because almost like anything that was posted, like they always slide up anyway and just like provide words of encouragement. So knowing that their younger brother is like on that cusp or playing professionally, they definitely was concerned and definitely just wanted to provide as much like advice as they possibly could about their process and how to make the transition as easy as possible for me.
We've seen a shift in college athletics with NIL. I've heard Liberty's looking into Alston money for being academically eligible. Does that play a factor in the decision that you can come back for a fifth year, grow here while also making some money and finding ways to balance that before you go to the professional ranks?
I think it's like it helps athletes as far as like not feeling rushed, really like owning in on the process. Because if you can, let's say, make an affordable amount with NIL, then you really you're not in a rush for money because you'll have more than enough to live on a day-to-day basis. So it really lets you just focus in the process of where you are as a player, and you don't have to try to make that jump and also try to make that growth happen in that small window of time.
Besides the T-shirt deal, did you have any other NIL deals?
That was the only one I really participated in this past year. So.
When did you tell Coach McGhee of your decision, and what was that conversation like?
Me and Coach have we went through the process together, so we've always had a sense of how it was gonna play out. But I think it was confirmed for him, like the day before we announced it. Like, even though he had a 80% idea of what was gonna happen.
How much of a relief is it, like, to be done? Like, I know you didn't, you're saying it's hard not to tell people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
How much of a relief is it now to just be like, it's over, we know where we're headed?
It's good because I got asked the question a million times by many different people, and it's tough not to just be like, this is what we're gonna do. But
How much do you think how the end of the season played out? You know, losing to Bellarmine in the semifinals. How much do you think that played into your decision to want to come back one more year?
well, I definitely wanted to go back and get that fourth championship in a row, and I feel like I left the opportunity out there for grabs. So, like, that definitely was a major contribution to my decision, and just like, I don't know, I think it's rare for people to go four conference championships in college, unless you go to Gonzaga or something.
How do you separate that emotion of the end of the season from getting the feedback you need, going through the process, and just giving it the proper attention that it needs to make the right decision?
I mean, it's honestly like it can be a tough balance for people, I think, that are put in that position. But when you have people around you that are always honest with you and always want your best interest, it also gives you that freedom to really own where you are in that process and really balance out what's the best opportunity for me. Am I putting myself in the best possible position? Because either way it goes, you know these people are 100% behind you. So I think that definitely made it super easy.
Brooke, Jermaine, do you guys have anything?
Yeah, can you hear me? I don't know if you
Yeah.
guys have the mic on it.
We can hear you.
You can hear me? Okay. Sorry, Darius, I jumped on here a little late, but was there like a big driving factor that I know you were talking about winning the conference championships, unfinished business, but was there something that really stood out to you that you were like, I just feel it in my heart that I need to stay another year?
The main thing was just feeling like we left the opportunity on the table, and also understanding that, like, my growth as a basketball player, like, it could be through the roof if I stayed another year as well. Like, I didn't feel rushed to go jump into the professional world and trying to, like, grow as a player while also establishing myself in the same sense. So I think those are the two biggest components: winning the championship again and also growing.
And how does it feel that nobody is ever going to beat any of your records now if you stay another year?
I hope somebody does. I think I got my money on one person, but I think we're going to have to wait for him to get here.
Thanks, Darius.
Thank you.
Hey Darius, this is Jermaine Farrell, WFXR in Roanoke. I got to ask you, you know, what is your big goals? Like, where are you looking to accomplish this year? I know you kind of said, it kind of seems like it's almost a bunch of unfinished business, but what are the goals? Because obviously, you know, there's a standard that you were a part of and part of this program at Liberty, but what's the goals? What's the end game for DMAC?
The end game is obviously winning, but individually, I think just like taking the feedback that I'm getting in my evaluation as a basketball player from my coaching staff and also people who like evaluated me this past summer, and put that work in and like go all out and see it come to fruition. Like to see like when I go back and look at film, those things like happen on the floor, and that it's like, you know, it's rewarding in a sense of knowing that like the work you put in, like it'll become evident.
And maybe for people who don't understand, I mean, you know, we talk to a lot of college athletes. They genuinely enjoy and love the college athletic experience. For you personally, you know, what's it like to be you, a college athlete, enjoying the experience and just loving what you do on the basketball court?
It's honestly tremendous. Like I look at myself as a normal person, like a regular college student. Like we all have the same struggles as any other person that's in college and that's going to school and trying to balance out life and school. But I think as far as being a college athlete, the most beautiful thing about it is seeing the amount of influence that you have, especially like on little kids or just younger basketball players who look up to you and want to model things of your game or just ask you questions, pick your brain. I think that's like the most beautiful thing because I was once that person. My uncle was that for me. I would always pick his brain. Whenever I would go to his house, I would take his headband because I wanted to put it on my head and emulate him doing moves. So, like, to know that I'm that figure for people out there is incredible.
Well, congratulations, sir, and good luck next season.
Thank you.
I know we talked about this before the press conference, but are you looking at maybe pursuing masters or anything like that with your 5th year?
Well, we're exploring it. I actually meet with my academic coordinator tomorrow to discuss what's like the ball moving forward school-wise, but I'm a little bit excited for that as well.
Anything else? Yes, sir.
I've noticed a few more pair of Air Jordans that you've been rocking lately. Are you on an NIL deal with Air Jordan or Jordan brand?
I wish I was on an NIL deal with Jordan, but no. I mean, I've been in college for 4 years. I really haven't like purchased any shoes, so I figured like, all the money that I've saved with my cost of attendance, I might as well, step out a little bit. Try to be like you. I mean, you got on new shoes today as we speak, so.
Follow-up to that question, do you feel like your coaching staff should get a certain percentage of the future income or all the savings that you have, given how much we've had to deal with in terms of the freedom that we give you to express yourself and lead one of the nation's top schools? Do you feel like there should be some compensation coming their way?
For sure, but I don't think that can happen until my future contract looks like their current one. So.